So, Dean, you found a T-shirt.
Yes, I have.
Were you rummaging in the bottom of your drawers?
I was, and look, I found my cat's t-shirt.
Wow.
It was actually a long time ago when I actually went to see the Cats show, and I found the t-shirt, and I thought, wow, maybe I could wear this and maybe try and upstage Norm.
Well, it looks wonderful. And
Thanks.
so that was the cat show in England that you saw,
Yes,
wasn't it? In
it
London
was, and it was a great show.
before we came to Canada.
Yes,
So, thumbs up for cats, eh?
yes.
So, Dean, what are we going to talk about today?
Retiree deadly sins.
Ooh.
Ooh.
But before we get to that, we're Tina and Norm and we talk all things retirement. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful Saturday morning.
Yes.
So, deadly sins of retirees. What's the first one, Tin?
Well, it's actually alcohol.
Uh-oh.
One very close to our hearts, isn't it, Norm?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
We recently came across a report from the Toronto University hospitals, and they were looking into alcohol usage during the recent pandemic. So this report came out last year, and the staggering thing about it is they worked out that just in Ontario, the province that we live, not the country, just
No.
our province, that the alcohol sales increased by $2 million a day during the pandemic from previous pandemic levels. $2 million a day more in alcohol sales.
Wow. It's kind of mind-blowing, isn't it, Norm?
It is. And to be honest with you, we can believe that because
Yeah.
we were going to our liquor store. It's a government-owned one, the LCBO. And half the time half the shelves were bare, weren't
Yeah,
they?
so we knew that we weren't the only ones there. Everybody else was there as well.
At certain
Yeah.
points, you couldn't get Australian
No.
wine.
Oh, that's very
You
true.
couldn't get half the
No.
brands of Scotch. There was just 2 or 3 brands. So yeah, alcohol usage certainly went up in the pandemic years.
And it was also governed too, Norm, by the fact that we had shortages too, didn't we? Things were getting stuck at the border and drinks weren't getting through as well as people consuming them. So it was quite a mind-blowing situation, wasn't it?
And the trouble is with increased alcohol usage, there's all sorts of work on this, but what we saw is that we're retired, so we don't have a schedule of going to work, and those happy hours can start happening around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock, where you maybe have a cocktail or a glass of wine.
Yeah.
We do interact with another couple during that time, sometimes.
Yeah.
But
not every day.
No.
No.
But it's just too easy to drink 1 or 2 drinks in that early afternoon. And the thing about it is that you're consuming calories, aren't you?
Yeah. We were kind of finding that it's certainly if we started early in the afternoon, that it was a sort of snowballing effect, wasn't it? That you kind of were drinking more and more than if it wasn't during the COVID.
And we were traveling and doing photography things and otherwise distracted. But I guess what we're really saying is there's real dangers in retirement to relying on alcohol, either for making you feel happy in the moment or just making it a habit. So we're taking steps to break that habit, to return to pre-pandemic use of alcohol for us. So what's involved with that, Tin?
Yeah, we've decided, haven't we, Norm, that we're going to have a sort of reset button for our alcohol usage. So what we've decided to do is to get ourselves back on track is we are going to, and we have been doing this, move to sparkling water. And we're putting in either lemon or lime or even cucumber sometimes because we got introduced to that on the cruise ships,
Yes,
didn't we?
we did.
And we're going to have that to try and get ourselves back to where we were before. And so far, we've only been doing it about 4 days, but it seems to be working because we do realize that it's a habit and it's a habit forming that you do. So we were looking to replace it with something that will be better off for us health-wise. And the magic plus of this is that, Norm, you're losing weight, aren't you?
Certainly am, Tin.
Yeah.
Still eating the same volume of food, but just cutting back on the alcohol. Well, we're actually cutting it out. Losing half a pound a day.
Which is great.
Because, to be honest with you, you have 2 or 3 drinks, 3 or 4 drinks, and you've just drunk the calories that you ate for your breakfast or your lunch.
As well as your food, haven't you?
And you don't even have to chew it.
No. It's sort of liquid calories, isn't it?
So we're saying one of the deadly sins of retirement is alcohol use, and to just be careful to not rely on it as a crutch in retirement and just enjoy it for what it is and maybe keep it as an occasional use so you don't end up with health issues, because more than a couple of drinks a day, every day, isn't good for you. Isn't good for us, is it?
No. And one of the things that I've done, Norm, that I thought we would share is, as you know, I like to drink wine. So I'm putting the sparkling water in a wine glass. So I actually still feel that it's special because it's in a wine glass.
And it tricks your brain psychologically that you have a wine glass, you're holding a wine glass, but you're not actually drinking wine.
So I'm still enjoying the experience, and
and to be honest with you, we're enjoying the sparkling water with the slight flavours.
Yeah, we are enjoying it.
And there's no sugar in it. I feel as though there's another deadly sin around the corner, Tin.
Yes, there is, Norm. And that has to be food.
Oh, one of our favourite subjects.
Which, of course, goes very well with the alcohol, doesn't it?
Yeah. In the last couple of years, we haven't travelled. I know some of you have.
Yes.
But we were just concerned about the last couple of years health-wise.
Yeah.
And so we haven't travelled as much as we have. So that means we've spent a lot more time at home. And the disadvantage about that is you're never far from the refrigerator, 18?
No, and we got lots of yummy things in there, haven't we?
Yeah. And so when you're not working and you're in retirement, you don't have that structured day. You don't leave and come back to the home 8 hours later. So there is a huge temptation to just reach for a snack, reach for foods that aren't good for us. So one of the deadly sins, we think, is overeating.
And I was going to say, Norm, that something also too is that you've more time on your hands. So you can visit Costco and you can visit other big grocery stores. So you can actually buy a lot more of your favorite foods.
Especially in retirement, because the majority of us have the money.
Yeah.
We're getting retirement income from the government.
Yeah.
We've saved for retirement. And who doesn't like to go get a big steak if you're a meat eater?
Yeah.
And if you've noticed, the size of steaks, chickens, pork chops have become enormous over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
We went and looked at rib steaks, and we've never seen such massive.
They're huge, aren't they?
And they do us 2 meals
Yeah.
for both of us, so we can get 4 portions out of 1 steak.
And remember, Norm, we've also found, not that we have been to restaurants very much, but we have been a couple of times just recently, haven't we?
Right.
And we are noticing that in the restaurants, the portions are a lot bigger than what Norm and I eat at home. So in our case, we often just get one meal and share it between us because as
in the
Norm,
restaurant, yeah.
because as Norm said, all these meats and things are absolutely huge. So we're finding that people are going to be eating a lot more than maybe they should be. So it's something to be aware of, isn't it?
So you couple that to the alcohol usage with the calories, increased sizes of portions with the calories, and then possibly low activity. So one of our solutions has been, wherever possible, we walk to the grocery store to work off the calories before we ever eat them. And that's worked out really well for us.
It has. We actually enjoy it, don't we? When if we're going to walk to buy the food, then we're getting our exercise. We can often burn 400 or 500 calories off just by going to get it. And there was a good case of that this morning, wasn't there, Norm?
It was. We went out this morning. Where did we go to, Teen?
Oh, we went to the local farmers market, and it was great.
One of our favourite places to visit on a Saturday.
Yeah. And we bought some wonderful fresh bread, and we bought Tina's favourite, which is sausage rolls.
Yeah.
But we burnt off, what was it, 500
550 calories.
Going there.
Both of us did, by walking.
Took us like an hour and a half, and that was our 8,000 steps for the day. So we felt very proud when we got back, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, and we did all that before we even had breakfast.
And the other thing to be careful about is snacking. So there's a phrase going around the internet at the moment, which is high calorie, low density food, or low calorie, high density food. So you get a bag of chips, for instance, and I think the portion sizes on our nutritional level is something like 8 chips, isn't it?
It's not very many, is it?
Well, who can limit themselves to 8 chips?
But the calories are huge, aren't they, Norm? They're like 200 or 300 calories for this 8 or 10 chips.
And that's a meal.
Yeah.
A meal's worth of calories.
So it can become very addictive. So we're kind of saying be very careful on these. And the other one, of course.
Now let me just translate into English.
What's that?
For our British viewers, chips, we mean crisps.
Oh, yes. We don't mean French fries.
No.
No. Oh, good point, Norm. Potato
It confuses
chips.
me all the time.
And of course, the other one is Tina's favourite, which is cheese. I could just eat cheese all the time. But again, that's one of these deadly things, just like the chips, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So you do have to be careful.
So what we're saying is that even though you are in retirement, you do need to discipline yourself and limit the amount of calories that you're consuming. And look at the quality of the calories, the food that you're eating. So anyway, that was our take on the deadly sin of food. So becoming an old fogey like us, things are going to start going wrong with you. It's just your body's getting older. It's not wearing out per se at this age, but it is starting to show signs of aging and stresses and inflammation possibly.
Yeah.
So this is going to be all about...
Don't ignore those aches and pains.
And take care of yourself with your health.
Yeah.
So, for instance, I had a spot on the end of my nose quite some time ago, late last year, and viewers had seen it.
Yeah.
I thought it was eczema just on the end of my nose here.
Yeah.
Because I do have eczema, small spots. But it didn't go away. And so in the end, I went to the doctor because I couldn't ignore it anymore. And it turned out to be a cancerous spot. So they removed it.
Yeah.
Had I gone earlier, they wouldn't have had to do the procedure they did. They could have treated it with a cream. So what we're saying is, do not ignore what is going on with your body. You get pain for a reason.
Yeah. And we're particularly saying that if you get aches in or a sore hip or pain, this can be the start of something kind of major that might require a replacement knee and hip, because we know lots of people that have all had this done. But possibly if you went just in the early stages, had an x-ray and got referred, there might be a different alternative way of treating the problem. That's what we're saying. Yeah.
So the key, I think, Tina, is prevention.
Yes.
So what are we doing to prevent all this?
Well, we do that, I guess we call the icky test, don't we?
I hate it.
We do I think they call it a cholesterol colon test.
Right.
Which, not to go into too much detail.
Well, I call it the poo test.
The poo test. But you know what? It's a very simple test, a home test that you can do. You get a little kit, you put a sample in for 3 days, you put it in the envelope, you mail it off, you get your results back, and we do it every 2 years. And it's a great way to stop early screening for cancer. Yeah. We would highly recommend that. We do that, don't we?
The other thing we do is go and get our eyes tested every year. We're lucky in Ontario because we get a free eye test once you're 65. Prior to that, we were paying for them anyway because it's good prevention. And the eye test can reveal all sorts of health issues with you, whether you have high blood pressure, they can see that in your eyes. You don't want to get glaucoma.
No.
So vital to have your eyes tested. And like me, every 3 or 4 years, I maybe have to up the strength of my glasses.
So it's a really good thing, isn't it? Another plus that we get it free for being over 65, which is great, isn't it? Yeah.
So the big deadly sin about healthcare and looking after yourself is not being proactive with your health. The other thing we mentioned earlier on is exercise.
Yeah.
We believe that's vital. Use it or lose it is our attitude. And we find with walking, keeps the joints lubricated. And we don't have sore knees or hips because we're using those.
We are. And when we're up at the trailer, Norm, you've been riding the bike, haven't you?
Yeah, I love doing that for an hour and a half.
And I've been going swimming both at the apartment and at the trailer. So that's another form of exercise, which is really good for you.
So I think the message we want to leave you with is don't be afraid of getting yourself fixed. No. Don't be afraid of going to the doctor if you feel that there's something not quite right with you. And do it early so that they can catch stuff and maybe have a kind of gentler treatment than what my nose ended up with the, well, I won't go into that.
No, but that was how we celebrated Valentine's Day this year, wasn't it, Norm?
It was. I had it done on Valentine's Day.
So it was kind of memorable in different ways, wasn't it? You'll never forget it, will you?
No. Not at all.
So we are just saying be very careful of all these things, whether it's alcohol or food or your health, but we're saying they're all out there, but you can find ways of looking after yourself even with them.
Teen, you came across a great saying the other day and we both really love it. So let's share that with our viewers.
Absolutely. It was growing old is mandatory, thinking old is optional.
That's wonderful.
Fantastic saying.
And the other thing we'd just like to say is that the decisions you make in your retirement will affect the quality of your retirement. So we'd just like to say thanks for watching.
Yes, and we hope that everybody is staying safe.
And keeping well.
Until the next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.